Morning on the hill was clean and bright. Wind slipped over the grass. A rooster tested his voice against the light. At the small farm, Jack and Tien moved through their gentle rituals. A kettle hummed, bread warmed in a pan. She checked the seedlings by the window. He tightened a loose screw on the back door hinge. Quiet tasks, quiet happiness. Happiness can be like clear glass, whole until a small stone finds it. Today, someone carried a stone. A woman in a neat jacket walked up the lane, holding a thin folder and a smile that did not reach her eyes. She was the ex-mother-in-law of Tien. She asked to speak to Jack alone. He wiped his hands on a cloth, glanced toward the kitchen where Tien was laughing at the kettle's whistle, and stepped outside. The air smelled of cut grass. Just 5 minutes, the woman said. Only the truth. And this is where a story breaks or holds. So, dear audience, is a document always truth? If the past was messy, can love in the present stay clean? Or is this a trap set precisely for those who are happiest? Jack listened. The woman set her folder on the wooden table under the mango tree. Papers slid out. She talked quickly, as if speed could pin down the facts. She said that before, long before, Tien had been unfaithful. She said there were many men, many nights, and afterward, hospital visits. She named procedures. She tapped receipts. She shaped the word abortions like a blade and then let silence do the rest. She added one more sentence. Soft, calculated. Perhaps that is why, she said, there's still no child in your house. The wind in the trees seemed to pause. Jack did not raise his voice. He did not argue. He set each paper in a neat stack. He read dates. He read hospital names. He read codes that looked official because they were designed to look official. He said, "Thank you for bringing this." He said, "I will think." And the woman, watching him not breathe for a beat, believed she had thrown her stone just right. Inside, the kettle went quiet. Tien poured tea into cups the color of sky. She looked up at Jack and smiled, not because she knew anything about papers or whispers, but because he had come in from the sun and looked, as always, a little too serious. They ate toast. They made a list for the day. Plant new lemongrass near the fence. Repair the leaking hose near the east rows. Call the supplier about feed. Jack added small boxes next to each item, like checkpoints for a steady heart. They walked out together. The day opened. Work, which is a kind of prayer, began to steady his thoughts. On the east rows, the hose did leak. Water beaded and ran. Jack crouched and tightened a metal clamp. His mind, however, had a second hose, one that leaked questions into the soil of trust. He had promised himself long ago he would not be a man who questioned his wife in secret. He would not collect shadows. He would not let rumor nest in his chest. But rumor is clever. It knows how to come wrapped in stamps and signatures. He watched Tien carry a sack of feed. She moved with sure hands. A hen sneezed. Tien checked its eyes, its breath, its appetite, then tried a small mix of garlic and water that she had learned from older farmers. Quiet competence. Care without performance. The hose finally stopped leaking. Done, Jack said. Good, she said. They smiled. For a moment the stone missed to the glass. Afternoon settled into the valley. The list on the clipboard turned to check marks. A neighbor boy ran past the gate with a kite he was sure would touch the moon. The radio from the commune office crackled to life with a prediction of light rain at dusk. Jack said he would deliver a basket of herbs to his mother. He kissed Tien's forehead and walked the trail that wrapped the hill. His mother listened. She did not interrupt. She served tea that smelled like calm. Someone brought me papers, Jack said. They said things. His mother leaned back and considered the steam rising from the cup. People love paper, she said with no contempt. It feels heavier than words. But paper is only as true as the hand that wrote it. Jack looked at his hands. They were rough from work. Honest hands, he hoped. He hated that there was even a thin film of doubt across his mind. Do I ask her, he said. Do I bring this into our kitchen and set it on our table? Ask for the truth you can live with, his mother said. But remember the truth you already see, every day, in the way she works, in the way she looks at you, in the way your home feels when you open the door. She paused, and then checked the facts, properly, not to accuse, to protect both of you from lies. Night fell fast, as it often does in the hills. A moth threw itself at the lamp. From the porch, Jack could see the faint shimmer of plastic on the greenhouse roof. He took the folder to his small desk. He wrote down what he knew: dates, hospital names, codes on the receipts, addresses printed at the bottom. He circled 2 mismatched letters in the name of one clinic. He circled a date that fell on a national holiday when he was almost certain public offices had been closed. He circled a 9-digit code that looked like an old format he remembered from a different province. He did not know if these were mistakes, or if he was looking for reasons to breathe. He slept poorly. Morning returned like a promise. He woke before Tien, made coffee, and then said the simplest, true thing he could say. "I want us to be unafraid." She turned, hair pinned up messily, eyes still soft with sleep. Unafraid of what? Of questions, of shadows, of being honest when something tries to frighten us. Her expression sharpened with concern, but not panic. She waited. "A woman came," he said. "Your ex-mother-in-law." Tien's mouth did not tremble. She did not gasp. She set the coffee down quietly. "What did she want?" she asked. "To hurt us," Jack said. Then he explained. Not every word, not every ugly claim, just the frame of it, the method, the implied knife. Tien listened the way a person listens to the sound of distant thunder, registering both the science and the memory of storms. "I'm not asking you to explain your past," Jack said. "I won't make you stand on trial in your own home. But I am asking if we can check this, together, with someone who knows the stamps and the codes, so we protect what we have." She nodded. Relief touched her face. Not because he doubted her, but because he had chosen to stand beside her even while looking at the problem directly. "Together," she said. They walked to the small health office near the market. Chickens dodged motorbikes. A mother scolded a child for trying to sit on a stack of rice sacks. The office smelled faintly of antiseptic and paperwork. A nurse who had seen both of them many times looked over the copies. She did not rush. She compared formats against a binder of guidelines. "This one," she said, tapping the corner of a sheet. "This seal style ended 5 years ago. And this code is not a patient record. It's an internal supply code." She lifted another sheet. "This clinic did not exist on this date. It was still under renovation." Finally, she placed all the papers back on the desk. "I cannot tell you your life," she said, kind but firm. "I can tell you these documents are not reliable." Tien thanked her. Jack thanked her. Their thanks sounded like breathing again after holding it too long. Outside, a cart went by with stacks of green bananas. The world continued indifferently, which often feels like mercy. Back at the farm, work waited, and so did peace. Peace did not come as a shout. It came as a steady hum. He refueled the pump. She dusted soil from the edges of a tray. They did not pretend nothing had happened. But the day, as days do, made room for the next good thing. Still, people who throw stones rarely stop after the first throw. The ex-mother-in-law returned, invited by Jack. He had called her, with courtesy, and asked if she would bring the papers again, this time to review them with someone from the health office present. She arrived with the same neat jacket, the same thin smile. The folder seemed thinner. The nurse was there as well, on her lunch break, willing to repeat the same neutral facts. Jack set the file on the table. "We just want to be accurate," he said. "To be fair to everyone." The nurse explained seal styles. She explained date inconsistencies. She explained how a legitimate record could be verified and how copies could be misused. The woman's answers did not hold steady under that calm light. Her sentences shifted. Her memory corrected itself, and then corrected itself again. No one raised a voice. No one called anyone a liar. The most powerful thing in the yard was the plain tone of a person trained to respect reality. After a time, the ex-mother-in-law closed the folder. She said she had errands. She left, her footsteps quick, her shoulders tight. Jack stood watching the dust settle. He turned to Tien. Both of them looked tired in the way people look after carrying weight that is not theirs. "Thank you," he told the nurse. "Be kind to each other," she said. "Most storms pass." That evening, the sky went lilac. A drizzle came and went. The list for the day was half checked, and no one cared. Some days, the list is not the point. They sat on the steps with hot tea. Silence, but not empty. "A full silence like soil that has been watered," Jack said. "I will not let anyone split us with old shadows," Tien said. "If we need to know things about our health, we will go and ask. Properly. For ourselves." He nodded. "We will." They picked a date for a general checkup. Not because rumors should be obeyed, but because care is not a surrender. It is a way of honoring a future. He wrote the appointment on the small calendar by the door. He underlined it once. At the clinic the next day, a young doctor explained things slowly, like a good teacher. Blood tests, hormone levels, basic scans, nothing dramatic, no promises, just steps. Infertility, the doctor said, choosing the word carefully, is a journey with many possible paths, some very simple, some that require patience. We follow the evidence, we never follow blame. Tien felt something soften inside her. Some old bruise warming under a gentler hand. Jack squeezed her fingers. He did not squeeze too hard. Strength without pressure, she noticed. She always noticed. They returned home lighter. Not light like feathers, but light like a well-packed bag. Everything you need, nothing you don't. The farm greeted them with evening tasks. The pump thumped a familiar rhythm. Cicadas tuned their thin instruments along the hedges. On the porch, a small bundle waited. No sender name. Brown paper, twine. Jack looked at Tien. She looked back. No fear, just agreement. We face things together. He untied the twine. Inside lay a single photograph. Grainy, overexposed. Two figures at a distance near the market. One of them shaped like Tien, the other a man in a cap. The angle was bad. The story it tried to suggest was worse. No note, no date stamp. Only that same cheap attempt at weight. Jack exhaled. "Stones," he said, thrown from the dark. Tien held the edge of the photo for a moment, then set it down as if putting a cup away. "What do we do?" she asked. "We keep doing what we do," he said. "We work. We love. We check facts. And when someone throws a stone, we don't turn our glass into thinner glass. We build a thicker frame." He smiled, small but real. "Also," he added, "we set up a camera at the gate. Not because we're scared, because we're smart." She laughed. The sound traveled across the yard and hung in the warm air like a lantern. Night gathered again. The farm exhaled. In their room, shoes sat side by side, like a sentence with two nouns and no conjunction, complete only when spoken together. Jack lay awake a little longer. He thought about how trust is not the absence of questions. Trust is the decision to ask them in the open, hand in hand, with the light on. He thought about how love is not an eraser for the past. Love is a carpenter. It builds around the past, with room for the present to breathe. And he thought about the people who choose to break what they could never build. He did not hate them. He did not excuse them. He simply placed them outside the fence, where weeds cannot reach the tomatoes if you keep the hoe steady. He slept. Morning came again, because it always does. They rose. They listed tasks. They drank coffee. They both looked for only a second at the photograph on the shelf, and then they looked at each other longer than that second, which is what matters. The radio spoke of fair weather. A neighbor called about borrowing a ladder. The hen, who had been sick, pecked at the ground with new energy. Life, stubborn and bright, continued to right itself. But on the path below the hill, a scooter slowed. A new envelope, thin as a blade, slid beneath the gate and lay quiet in the dust. Inside the house, the kettle sang. Outside, the envelope waited, patient as a trap. And somewhere, a hand, unseen, reached for another stone.